best at something in your organization, own it. Don't give it up right away. You know, I've heard some of you guys like, yeah, you know, I'm tired of having to be the one to do all these deals. And I'm like, well, guess what? What else would you do if you didn't do the deals? What's a higher value task than you doing the deals right now? And if you don't have anything better than that, guess what? Do the deals. Working. And then of course you got sleep. But that basically makes up your entire life. And this is why I was saying yesterday, when you hire people, you got to realize that you're asking them to give you half their life. That's a huge ask. I'm like, come work for me. Give me half your time of your entire life, right? It's a big ask. So you got to take it seriously. But even more so, you as the leader, you got to take it seriously for the time that you spend and how you allocate your time. You know, yesterday I talked about the 3 resources that we as leaders get to dictate. We dictate our time, we dictate the capital we have available, and we get to dictate how we use the labor around us. Those are the only 3 levers that we can pull in business, right? And how you use those 3 levers will dictate how far your business goes. So for me, I started to look at the hours of work that I spend, and I realized there was 4 categories of work that I do. So go to the next slide. And the 4 categories. Category number 1 is current income. So with current income, you could just put all of them right now. So they're just there, okay? These are just tasks that I do that makes me money today. So for me, the activities that make me money today, current income wise, would be number 1, obviously I do coaching calls. So I do a couple of calls a week with you guys. I got some one-on-ones I do coaching calls with each week, and that's basically takes me 4 hours a week. The next one is looking at deals. So now that I've reinserted myself back into doing more flips, I'm sitting with Monty analyzing more deals now, just trying to make sure that, dude, we're buying good deals. He's seeing what I see. We're both looking at the market the right way. So I'm just looking at deals. The next one is just meeting with the team. Now this is a huge part of what we do the most. And I'll probably talk about that here in a sec. Let me just finish up. Filming 6 hours per week. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? I mean, I'm filming probably 3 YouTube videos a week. So on average, that takes me about, call it 4 to 5 hours. And then I spend usually about an hour a week just prepping for our content. So that's just coming up with titles, thumbnails, you know, all that good stuff. But you know, these 3, they're pretty self-explanatory. I want to talk about meetings with the team because this one is probably the biggest lever. Because through these meetings with the team, this is having the most, I would say, exponential impact overall. Because if we have 40 employees, and I'm not like with them all day, every day, these meetings are super impactful because if I have a 1-hour meeting with them, that 1 hour is probably going to dictate how they spend their next 40 hours that week. So now it's like 1 hour just got traded for 40 times the amount of employees that I just talked to. So I mean, if we're talking 40 times 40, that's 1,600 hours that I'm impacting by having this meeting. So this is really, really important for you guys to have meetings with your team. And I used to be bad at this. I used to just assume my team knew what to do. And we got pretty far doing that because they're smart people. They're good. But guess what? Things would happen. I'd be like, why didn't you do this? Well, no one told me to. I didn't know that you wanted to do that. There wasn't clarity around it. So I made a commitment last year to start spending way more time in meetings with my team. Now, let me tell you, I do not like doing meetings. They suck. But you know what? I like making money and growing the business. So I do them. So Monday is our most important meeting day. I probably sit in meetings for about 3 hours a day at minimum on Monday. Because when we get the first thing in the week, I want them to spend the rest of the week doing the things we just talked about. So, you know, Monday, the way it starts in our organization is everyone is here at 9. And from 9 to 9:15, I have a virtual meeting with the entire company. It doesn't matter what company you're in, wealthy investor, home run offer, the content team, it doesn't matter. I talk to everybody. And what I do on that meeting is really important. So you guys can write this down because I think it impacts the team more than anything. So the first thing I do is I have everyone share something they're grateful for. Now, not everyone shares because there's 40 people. It would take forever, but it's just volunteer. I'm like, hey, someone share something you're grateful for. Share something that happened over the weekend or in the last week that was cool in your life. And so people will share like mainly things that happened in their personal life, not just like, oh, in business, I killed it. Like we're all aware of what happened in business. Like share something that happened in your personal life that we don't know. And what that does is it starts to create relationships and bonds, you know, not only with me, but with everybody in the company because everybody's aware of what's going on. So first thing we do is just have people share something they're grateful for that happened in their life. The next thing I then do, and I always share something as well, personally about me that's going on. The next thing that I do is I always have a list of like 2 or 3 people that I shout out. So I want to always recognize achievement each week. So every week I write down something or a couple of people that did something really good the week before. So it could be a salesperson that had a great week. They just absolutely crushed it. It could be I have to always constantly think about the people I like don't see behind the scenes because the sales team is very easy to see behind the scenes or in front, right? It's like, oh, they got deals or they didn't, right? So I have to always be thinking about like other people too. And so when we hear from you guys about coaches that are doing really good, you know, I'll shout out a coach. I'll be like, dude, I heard, you know, from so-and-so that you helped him get this deal. That's awesome, dude. Like that, you know, Joel, you got that deal. D'Amico helped you get that deal, right? No, D'Amico claimed it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but long story short, like if I hear any good stories about you guys, I hear it from the coaches, you know? So they'll be like, and I heard about your deal that you were working on. I didn't know that it closed. Yeah. Who was helping you with it?
Well, it was a group effort.
It was a group effort.
Kevin was helping me with it. Susan had helped me with it a little bit, and also D'Amico had run the numbers with me the day after that. The day after we basically got it locked up.
Yeah, make sure it was good.
And then Kevin basically helped me complete the whole thing.
Yeah. Tell everyone about your deal, by the way. I think it's important for people to hear.
All right. So I've explained it to quite a few people already, but
give the 1-minute version.
All right. First lead pack ever bought, first wholesale ever done, and I got $100,000 on it.
$100,000 fee. And I was talking to this guy last month in Cancun, and we were literally talking about the things we're talking about now. I'm like, bro, just get like 2 lead packs and just try it.
Reps.
You have nothing to lose. Just try it. You're just at least going to get better at the thing. And then like 2.5 weeks later, you literally closed a $100,000 deal. It's crazy. So anyways, with the team, I'm always thinking about, okay, what did the coaches do behind the scenes that don't necessarily get seen that we can really highlight? What is the content team doing that I see that I really like? What is, you know, the events team doing, right? Especially for something like this, I can guarantee next week I'm going to shout out the events team, you know, and I'm going to be like, hey, great job, you know, Jocelyn, making sure everyone showed up. They were here, you know, that's a win. You know, everything was done, you know, all the venues, the tables, the chairs, you know, somebody did all this. They're just behind the scenes. And so I want to recognize everybody in the organization. So I do a shout out, and then I do an agenda for the week. And so I'll set the vision for the week. And I'll say, hey guys, here's what we got going on. So this week I'm like, look, we got the All-Star Mastermind. We got Day with Ryan. Here's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be epic. You know, every week there's something new, right? I might have a really big podcast guest coming on. I'll be like, hey, so, you know, this week we got so-and-so coming on. If any of you guys want to meet him or meet her, you know, be ready. They're coming this time, this day. So it's just setting the expectation for what we're trying to do that week, any new things that we're working on, all that good stuff. And then just like I do with these events, I end it by praying for the entire team and their family and everything that they're doing. And that's how we start off every Monday, to set the tone for the organization. The next meeting I have is with Home Run Offer. So I'll go sit with Home Run Offer for about 30 minutes, and I'll just go over the previous week again. I'll say, hey guys, this is how many contracts we had. Okay, cool, like we closed. What's going on, guys? Like, what are you hearing from the sellers? Like, I want to get feedback from them. If you would ask them this week, I've been already getting feedback from them. They're like, oh yeah, the market's definitely heating up. These sellers are much more receptive to selling than they were the last month. And we know that makes sense, right? I mean, December is the hardest time to close deals. Sellers, they're not trying to sell their home right now during Christmas and everything else. You can still do deals, but it's just harder. So, I'll get feedback from them. I'll ask them, what are some of the problems you're facing? What are you hearing from these sellers? And that in turn helps me figure out how to solve their problem. Because guess what? If I know what their problem is, I'm going to look at it from a different standpoint that they do and probably come up with a solution that they don't really think about. So I meet with Home Run Offer. Then at 10 o'clock, I meet with our entire marketing department. This meeting takes forever. So, because I'm technically like the CMO of the company too. I decide everything we're going to do with marketing because nobody's better than me. It just is what it is. And I'll probably be in that role the rest of my life in anything I ever do in my life because I'm that good. And this is an important thing for you guys to realize. If you're that good at something, you just need to always do it. Okay? I don't think I'll ever get out of marketing because I don't think there's anyone better than me. So what are we going to do? Like, I'm just going to always do that. You know why? Because spending an hour or two with the marketing department, you know how much impact that makes in our organization? All the ads, all the content, all the promotion, the funnels. Nobody will know that better than me. So I want you guys to realize it's not arrogance or anything. When you are the best at something in your organization, own it. Don't give it up right away. I've heard some of you guys like, yeah, I'm tired of having to be the one to do all these deals. And I'm like, well, guess what? What else would you do if you didn't do the deals? What's a higher value task than you doing the deals right now? And if you don't have anything better than that, guess what? Do the deals. Because I don't have anything better to do than figure out cool marketing things as far as making money goes. So I spend a lot of time with the marketing department each and every week. And I have this document where it's just a running Word document. It's nothing sophisticated. And it's just all my ideas for this week. And I'm adjusting it based on the previous week. I'm like, let's raise the ad budget here. We got to start promoting WealthCon right now. We got to start doing this. I got to film ads for that. We got the mastermind coming up. How many seats or RSVPs we got? What else do we need to do? Do we need to send an email out to make sure we get more people? Like, that's why the events and that's why everything works, because we're looking at it every single week, making sure that we're hitting metrics. So when we do get to the thing, it's successful. So, I spend a lot of time in that marketing meeting. Then I do at 11 a Wealthy Kingdom meeting. So I'll sit there and talk to them for an hour about everything we're doing in Wealthy Kingdom and how we can get prepared for whatever that thing is, right? In 2 weeks, we got Kingdom Nights. And, I was telling them yesterday, I'm like, well, this Kingdom Nights is in Orange County. Well, there's all these fires out there right now. And I'm like, so what are we going to do? Like, are we going to actually still run it? Or are we going to, have to postpone it and wait a month or something? Like, I got to decide that probably today. Because we... Phoenix instead. Maybe. A little warmer. Yeah. So I just, these are things that are always happening every week that we got to adjust to. So I'll meet with them for about an hour. So Monday's like already the first 9 to 12, all I'm in are meetings. After 12, I'll then meet with people individually that I think I need to talk to. So if Javi and I need to talk about something, I'll go meet with Javi for like 30 minutes. And mostly it's usually like the upper management that I'm meeting with. I'm not like meeting with an individual salesperson. I'm like, what's going on? That's the sales manager's job. I need to impact the people who also impact multiple people under them. So Javi is an important person for me to be talking to a lot. Justin, since he's running that crew, is important for me to talk to. Chris with Wealthy Kingdom running everything. It's important for me to talk to him. It's important for me to talk to Monty. So I'm really just talking to the department heads individually, trying to grow them as leaders too. Like, I essentially spend a lot of time mentoring my top guys to think the way I think and to get them better. So that's why the team keeps getting better, because I invest a lot of time in training them one-on-one. So that's just Monday, right? And then throughout the week, random meetings just always happen. Hey, like we got to have a meeting about XYZ. So I had a meeting about renewals and everything else like a day ago. I had a meeting with finance about payroll and how we're going to do things this year. I had a meeting with, like crazy little things, like Joel, my tech guy, just going over different things with lead packs and how we can make them better and how we can automate the process of creating the packs and, using AI to randomize them better. Like little things behind the scenes that you just would never even think about. I'm just meeting with these people because I know if I just do it one time, in many cases, I don't have to ever do it again. Once we build the process, I can move on to the next thing to solve. So 30% of my time, working time, is spent on things that make me money today. Now, I spend about 20% of my time working on future income. Some of you guys here, okay, I'm just explaining to you where I'm at. Your percentages should not match my percentages today with where you're currently at. In fact, most of you guys, probably 70% of your time should be spent on current income, doing things that make you money today, all right? But I'm just telling you where mine's at this point in my life. So, future income. So planning upcoming events. Like I said, all these events are on me. So I got to decide, man, are we going to actually do Kingdom Nights in 2 weeks? If not, what are we going to do? We got our Kingdom Summit that was supposed to be in April. I just found out 2 days ago that the church isn't going to be ready yet. Now I got to go reschedule it. So I got to figure out when this is going to go down. Now I got to go reach out to all my buddy speakers and see if they can go do some new dates. It's all logistics, especially when you're dealing with, the famous people that I have a relationship with. So I'm always just thinking about the next event. Researching new things. This is a big one. So the reason I know so much about lots of things is I spend a lot of time just researching things. But I don't research random things. I only learn about things that are applicable to me. So this is super important for you guys to know, because I see a lot of people who want to know questions, or they're asking questions, and I'm like, why do you care? Oh, well, I'm just curious. No. Only learn things that you need to learn. Quit wasting time being entertained learning, all right? So I'll just shut people down. Like, on Wednesday we had a guy, and he kept asking questions that weren't related to just sales and getting deals. I'm like, no, quit asking me questions about this. It does not matter. All you need to do is get sales. And it's just, that's how people are, okay? So I only research things that are applicable to me. So research is interesting because what I do anyways is, I'll read things, I'll watch things, but a lot of my time in research is actually talking to experts. So, if I'm trying to go master AI, which is a huge thing I'm trying to do this year, I'm thinking through, hey, out of all the people I know, who's using AI in a big way? And then we'll start chatting about it. I had Jared, his name's Jared Glant, he's Cardone's right-hand man. And he texted me like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, hey, somebody said you were doing this AI thing. What'd you think about it? And I was like, it sucked. What are you guys doing with AI? And then we just start having dialogue back and forth. He's like, well, this is how we're doing it. This is how, whatever. And that's me researching. It's just having conversations with people about what's happening, what are they doing, and everything else. So that's why I kind of know what's happening in most people's businesses, because I spend a lot of time talking to them about their business. So research, relationship building. So, relationship building, like as we know, usually doesn't pay off right away. It's something that pays off over time. So I'll spend probably 5 hours a week building a relationship. Granted, a lot of times that's 5 hours playing golf with somebody. It just so happens to be that way, and it's great, okay? But it's true, right? Like I'll get people, and they're like, dude, we should do something. I'm like, let's play golf. And they're like, I don't play golf. I'm like, it's all good. We're just going to hang out anyways for 5 hours. What, are we going to sit at the table and just talk for 5 hours? No. Okay, like let's actually do something that, normal people do when they build relationships. You don't just sit across from each other for hours and just talk. It's not a normal thing. So, with relationship building, it could be that. It could be going, to a lunch or a dinner or whatever. There's lots of ways that we go about building relationships. And so I would just say it's not wasted time to go out to coffee with people. It's not wasted time to go golf with people. It's not wasted time to hang out, especially if it's a relationship you want to build. Now, if all I do is hang out with the same people every day, it's not really relationship building, That's just hanging out with your boys. I'm trying to go meet new people, all right? So I'm like, Brian, I don't need to golf with you anymore, okay? Like, I'm gonna bring somebody else. I already know you pretty well. I see you enough. So I wanna build relationships with new people. The next 20% of my time, so if you look back, about 50% is basically, current income and future income. Now 20% of my time is processing data. So I'm always looking at all the numbers of everything in my business. So once again, talking to friends in the industry. So I guess maybe what I was talking about earlier with Jared would fall into this category, but I talk to people nonstop in the industry. At least an hour a day, I'm texting people, talking to people, just getting a pulse on what's happening. I was literally negotiating a seller finance deal yesterday while they were talking, and this guy, he's worth tons of money, tens of millions, maybe even more, and he does commercial real estate. I was actually trying to buy his house. He's like, I already know who you are. And I was like, well, why don't you take, the offer? He's like, because I think the market's going to go really good this year. I go, why do you think that? He said, well, because obviously I'm in the industry and I've been talking to bankers and different people and everybody's super optimistic. We're already starting to see it. He's like, so now I'm like, okay. Now I go from trying to buy his house to like, so what do you know? I'm like, what bankers are you talking to? What do you know? Like, I'm always trying to know behind the scenes of what's happening. So I talk to people. Then I spend about 2 hours looking at all of our numbers, KPIs, financials, trends. So a lot of that happens during the marketing meeting as well. I'm like, okay, so give me the data. How many people signed up for this thing yesterday or last week? Hey, give me the data. How many leads did Home Run Offer get? What was the cost per lead? Do we need to adjust this? How much of this did we sell? What's going on here? How many views did we get? Why did this video perform so much better than that video? What are you guys going to do about it? So I need my team to bring me all the numbers because I don't want to go look for the numbers. I'm not over here looking at them. I'm like, bring them to me and let me make a decision based on me analyzing these numbers on what to do next week. Your business has to be managed on a daily and weekly basis, guys. This is not set it and forget it. The world is constantly changing and moving. That's how you always keep moving ahead of everyone because you're just looking at the data and what it's telling you. So I'll be looking at all these things all the time. I don't know if this broke again, guys. Yeah. No. You just click it. Another one is listening to feedback. So this isn't even me having meetings. This is me just kind of like browsing around myself. And so a lot of it is with customers and whatever else. So I'll go on school and I'll just read through the posts and stuff. I follow a lot of you guys on social media. I'll see what you're doing. I'll also spend time looking at what the competition is doing in different things. And I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. I see that ad from this person and that person. Okay, that's interesting that, they're running it this way. So I just like literally watch and listen to feedback, probably for an hour a day. And then also too with employees, I'm just listening to what's going on. I'll walk around and I'm just seeing what's happening with how they're interacting with each other. If the vibe is off, I can walk in the room and see like these two don't like each other right now. Like what the heck is going on here, right? So I just want to be attentive to what's happening. And so for me, it's like, well, I'm in good shape. I'm good. Like I don't need to be a bodybuilder. I like where my life is at. I'm good. And literally 5 hours a week has made me look like this the last 20 years. I'm good. I don't need to go crazy with it. There are bodybuilders who they spend 20 hours a week in the gym, and guess what? Their career is bodybuilding. It's very important to them. I wouldn't even say that's personal development for them. That's work. Like that's active income for them. On that point, I don't know if any of us are making money from our physique. No one? Okay, so we should probably just be good enough. All right? Faith obviously is super important to me. And so I spend a lot of time in that. And even 10 hours, I'm like, man, how could I get that to 15? Like, what could it be? What could I do differently? Reading, same thing. It's like, I just like to read. And so I'll read usually at least 30 books a year. You can read 30 books a year if you just read 3 hours a week. That's the math. It's not that difficult. So anyways, you guys can go to the final slide. This is how I spend my week. If I would say, if you're a solopreneur right now, my opinion is you would probably spend, call it 70% of your time on current income, maybe 60%, let's just say. You should absolutely, this personal development should always be 30%. You should never just stop working on yourself. Like we've been talking about the last day, you are as far as you're going to go. So you need to develop personally more than anything. So I would never touch this personal development. You don't have a ton of data right now to process if you're a solopreneur, so you're not really spending time the way I do on that. So really, you're just focused on your current income and just keep continuing to get better just personally. And then, you have a little bit of time, maybe 10% of your time, 5% of your time is thinking about future ways to make money, You don't really need to think about the future when you can't figure out the current, okay? So you should just focus almost all your time on the current and just have an idea of what the future looks like once you start achieving your goals currently. Anyone have any questions on that?